Johnny Johnson, music director, guitar player for BOYZ to Men.
Theirs hooked up. Josiah Thomas playing for BOYZ to Men.
Like an ass.
What's up, everyone? This is Terry Wesley. I'm the drummer for BOYZ to Men.
My name is Ivan, man. They call me Big Eye.
Oh, nice to meet you, man.
Detroit bass player. I got a lot.
Good shit.
Thousands of us, man.
Good shit, yeah.
Check out the
Well,
check
I'm
out
sure
the photo.
this is James Jameson country up here, so.
check out the photo in Detroit Bass Player magazine.
Okay.
If you get a chance.
No doubt.
It's insane. They got like thousands of bass players sitting in the front lawn or somewhere, right?
Of Motown, the museum.
They get together and they're mentoring kids like on bass.
That's nice.
Now that was awesome. How do they, as a musician, as you being a bass player and basically a musician, how are you expected to carry yourself when you on these roles and you represent artists and all that kind of stuff? What do they expect of you as a bass player? How do they expect you to carry yourself? You know, in this on the set and on the gig day.
That's a very good question. And you know, no one's ever sat me down and said, "Hey, listen, you know, this is what's expected of you." You know, just like, you know, like if you would typically expect, like if you're working for a company, you know, they say, okay, your job is to sell phones, and you know, blah 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 blah. No one's ever talked to me like that here, and it's truly like a beautiful and amazing experience, because the thing is, because no one's ever talked to me about it, I feel more what's the word I'm looking for? Like, I feel more motivated to work that much harder at doing a good job, you know, when it comes to your question. Basically, what I realized is that I spent some time working in the business world. I worked at a cell phone company for 6 years. at AT&T and with Verizon for 3.5 years. And the whole thing about AT&T was, if I'm selling phones for them, I want to create an excellent customer experience for every customer that comes to me, you know. So that's going to be my tone of voice, how I'm presenting it, and I just really thank God for having that time to be in that kind of environment, because that's exactly how I try to. That's like a model of how I try to be when it comes to playing on this gig. So when it comes down to, you know, being groomed, being well groomed, being prompt, being on time, being prepared, which means, you know, having your fresh strings, your gear sounding right. You know, I was listening to my bass and making sure, oh, maybe it sounded like dirty pots, like I need to take it into my guy, have him check it out, because that wouldn't create a positive experience with my group if that something was to happen. Oh, something's going on. Oh, yeah, I'm hearing a noise somewhere.
Radio in the background.
Right, I'm hearing a noise. Like, what's that? Oh, that's the bass. Hey, Will, you know, something wrong with your bass. It's like, so my mind constantly thinks about, like, you know, getting all the points covered. You know, showing up for simple things like showing up for the lobby calls on time, because, you know, this whole business is about, you know, catching planes and going places, and, you know, you can be an amazing player, but then if you got a problem, you know, showing up on time, you know, that can hold up the whole camp, you know, and one bad apple can spoil the whole bunch of those things. So not only that, but you were kind of asking about it earlier about preparation and practice, and what I do is, I mean, I write and read music too. So you know, my whole thing is I like to when I hear a song, like, I don't listen to the song like maybe your typical average person would listen to it. When I listen to it, like, I listen to little variations on the bass lines that the guy be doing, because it's like that guy is up to a particular caliber that he got that job to play that bass line on that album. And so I like to get into it and hear like all his little parts, all of his little variations, all of his little licks and stuff, because I hope to one day be at that level where someone would call me and I could play bass on some major artist record. So I write down my part. So for BOYZ II Men, like, I wrote down all the bass lines, and it also helps me memorize them too, because sometimes, you know, there's that sweet note that comes around like the second verse or something that the bass does that's a little bit different than the first verse, that just adds a little more color, a little more progression into the song, you know. So I would do that. I write, just like, you know, like if you were trying to learn lyrics, you know, you write down the lyrics, and then you don't try to use the lyrics anymore. Once you write them down, you're not looking at them anymore, and so you're just trying to get off from looking at them. So that's my process of how I learn songs. Always trying to memorize them, and then they become a part of me, and hopefully it comes out into my own unique style. So when I'm learning songs, like I test myself. It's like I gotta give myself a pop quiz. You know, can I just wake up, you know, first thing in the morning, not warming up or anything, and then play the song without a mistake? Okay, now if I hear myself playing a mistake, am I gonna sit there and go, oh, that's all right? Or am I gonna go like, wait, no, I gotta train myself not to make that mistake. Okay, what's the part? Whether I have to slow it down, where if it's just a memorizing issue, whatever it is, keep playing it over and over again until I get it. And then also, like, I give myself some time. Like, when you're memorizing things, your brain can only handle so much. It's like you can bombard your brain for like 2 hours straight, but your brain's going to shut off after 45 minutes. So that whole hour and 15 minutes you wasted cramming stuff in, your brain needs to get a little relief. Excuse me. So when I was like learning the BOYZ II Men stuff and working on memorizing them, I would work at like 45-minute intervals, because I remember like in school, like the teachers talked about, they learned about the study where 45 minutes work, 15-minute break. That's a good plan. So I adopted that as my learning thing too. So I would work on something for 45 minutes. I'd set a timer, take a break for 15 minutes, walk outside, do something totally different, and then that helped me. It helps your subconscious start working on what you learned, because your subconscious does what your conscious tells it to do. So sometimes, practicing is all about getting your conscious working so that it can relay that information to your subconscious, and your subconscious starts working on stuff. That's how, like, you ever notice, like, after you hear a song, like, and you listening to it over and over again, like, it starts playing in your mind the next day, and that's when I know, like, I've learned the song well enough, because now I'm hearing the bass lines just sticking out in my head the next day. And so I've learned a lot about being easy on myself and pacing myself when it comes to learning tunes.
Okay. Okay, so again, we here in Detroit, backstage at the sound room, the sound board, which is part of the Motor City Casino. And just real quickly, just give me a rundown on a day's activity of a show, like an itinerary. What actually takes place? Okay,
well, lobby call, since you were asking about that, that's for when you're leaving out from the hotel. So, like, tomorrow we got a lobby call at 6:30 in the morning. So my job is to get there at 6, so that way I'm not holding up the crew, I'm not holding up the bus on anything. So that's because we got to drive to the airport and then catch a plane. So time waits for nobody, right? Mm-hmm. So, but on a typical day, like, since we're on the road here, what we do is we have call time. So call time is the time that we are sound checking. So today was at 3:30. So again, like, what I've tried to adopt as my good habit to have is to be there an hour to an hour and a half before call time. So that way, if I need to tune up, I need to plug in, I need to set my wires and stuff, I'll be ready to go at 3:30, because we're here at this venue and they got time schedules to keep, when they got to get the doors open, where they have to have the other artists sound check. And so we got to do our best to comply with what their needs are, so that way we don't hold up the game plan for the whole night. So me handling my business and keeping my business tight, is gonna keep the machine running well.
Okay. Now, again, at the sound check, thanks for inviting me to come and hang out. What I saw at the sound check kind of surprised me. After you guys did your little, you played the little stuff, and then the actual original members of BOYZ II Men, Sean Stockton and Nathan Morris came out. Well, Nathan Morris came out first, and what shocked me was the fact that he actually put a bass guitar in his hand.
Yeah.
Now, what's up with that, man? That first of all, that's cool, but what's up with the bass guitar? I see Usher with a bass. I just seen Usher on drum. Well, Nate Morris, he started playing the bass. Is he doing the bass on the show, or what was going on?
Yeah. There's a part of the show where Nate picks up the bass and Sean picks up the guitar, and we kind of like do like an impromptu jam, and then we go into a couple of the new songs that are on the new album, while with Sean and Nate both playing guitar and bass respectively.